Hello friends, it's me, Gumi Eons, and in this video, it is a lot different from my regular content, which is usually just speed paints or talking about art things that interest me, but this video does pertain to art, but this is a deconstruction of a video that came up on my timeline by the YouTuber by the name of Gabby Bell. And before we even get into the video, I am warning you now, even with all I'm about to say about their points and how I majorly disagree with them and think this video was in bad taste, with non-existent evidence to boot, you cannot go harass them. If you do that, I will bite off the toes of your firstborn child. You can bring up your concerns if you disagree with them, but not being overly negative, and you cannot send hate that is disrespectful and rude, and that is not what this video is about. And I'll put this at the top of the video as well. This video is heavily against AI generators and stuff of that ilk, so if that ruins it for you, then maybe don't watch, but you might learn something along the way, but it's your choice, bud. So with that all being said, let's get into the video in question. So this video is called Why AI Art is Causing Outrage, in where Gabby goes over their opinion on AI art, with the first generator mentioned being Lensa AI, an AI image generator, which is one of the many strange things about it is that you have to pay for it, which isn't the whole argument around AI that it makes it accessible for people to make images, which is a shitty argument, but in the first place, but let's run with it. You basically put images of real people, in this case Gabby puts pictures of themselves in this and creates images with photos to make it look like art produced by humans.
We're concerned that the AI versions of them would be hotter than them, because AI and a lot of machine learning algorithm stuffs will learn to prefer certain types of faces over others.
So right off the bat, there's one part of this video that I really agree with. These generators have algorithms filled to the brim with stolen and copyrighted artwork from human artists that run when you put an image in, and if you're not of Eurocentric beauty standards, the generator has a hard time picking up on that and even enlightening the skin tone of many people to be lighter and getting rid of characteristics of this group, which is horrible and happens all the time with so many of these art generators, because at the end of the day it's a human programmer with biases creating the algorithm and can be racially biased. But Gabby then goes on to how human artists have an internal bias based on what's conventionally attractive and blames artists for this happening.
Mention that people are acting like this is an AI specific thing, because I hate to break it to you, but human artists also have this internal bias based on what's pretty, who's pretty, and also drawing cute anime girls that look like this. Like, this is not a new thing, and artists are not perfect either.
In the AI, which for starters, it's the developers of the AI choosing which art to steal and run in their engines, so they are the ones choosing what art is chosen, and secondly, I semi-agree with the point of artists only drawing socially acceptable and Eurocentric beauty standards, but there are so many other artists making the effort and leading the charge on drawing more inclusivity, and both are great, but you really shouldn't be blaming artists for this in the database of Lensa and so many other AI art generators. They then start to talk about how Stable Diffusion, they understand the open source nature of Stable Diffusion and how it's coded correctly. They say people can use that for concept and props and say it's mostly used for inspiration as of now.
It's nothing to scoff at. People can use AI for concepts and prompts, but oftentimes it won't be a final product, at least not yet. It'll be mostly used for inspiration as of right now.
This is false. If you have seen any of the AI commission sheets going around, you can tell that people aren't just using this for inspiration, but to make a profit as well. An easy way to spot AI art commission sheets is that if they only have bust or shoulder up views of people, but obviously don't go bothering artists, like that would be rude. And people putting specific artists' work in the generator just to make something in their art style and not commission the artists themselves. Many artists reporting a loss of revenue these last few months. I wonder if that correlates with anything.
View to be perhaps a corporate version in the future for graphics for specific events or tour posters.
Graphics for specific tour posters, these are real human beings making this and are being paid for. So when we're talking about AI taking over, it would leave a lot of hardworking people jobless and nowhere to go. And we're already seeing this happen with specific magazine covers, which originally was a human's job, but congrats, your job is getting automated. Please press F to go cry in the corner for 5 hours.
Pay them to be able to use these AI generated images for commercial use.
In DALL-E 2, you can pay for the copyright of somebody else's work that was stolen beforehand. I love capitalism. The lack of empathy that a lot of people have is just staggering. When you get told your job is being automated, that sucks. And the excitement in this video about this is honestly insensitive because AI art, most artists will have to quit and find something else to do, not to mention the majority of the artist community are lower class, disabled, and chronically ill people who can't work your normal 9 to 5. It's not only commission artists being upset, it's most of the art community because they are collectively taking chunks of work without the consent and using them to make a massive profit without giving a care to the mostly underpaid artists they are stealing from.
Is because they say that AI art is theft. About it a little more. This AI bot is probably trained on millions and millions of images of different art styles, etc. And maybe it's based on a database of non-consenting artists. Maybe it is. We don't really know.
AI art is theft. This phrase stood out to me because if you did any amount of research on AI art, you would know that AI cannot exist without having a database full of many people's art, and from the extensive amount of research I did on the topic, page 7 of Google basically, there was not a call to action for artists to deposit work so that they could go into an AI generator database. The more logical thing is that they plain and simply stole from artists, non-consenting artists, and there is proof of this. With the artist Maricun,
someone trained an AI to copy and replicate my personal art style without my permission. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mari, and I'm a full-time illustrator and content creator. This person created a burner account on Twitter just to upload this tweet. So honestly, I'm 100% sure that they did this just to spite me, because I am usually pretty vocal about this whole AI trend thing going on. Honestly, I hate this. I didn't give permission for my work to be used for AI learning purposes. I didn't work my butt off for years to find my own references, my own style, to figure out what I like and who I am as an artist and a creator, to have a machine try to rip it off. Right now, obviously the results aren't great, but I can't help but feel uneasy about the future that this brings. How do you think you would feel if someone used your work for AI? What if they perfected it and then sold it afterwards? What if it put your very own job at risk? I'm genuinely heartbroken.
Where somebody put her art images into an AI generator, and another with the recently passed Kim Jung-gi. Only 3 days after his passing, a developer created an AI image generator powered by Stable Diffusion to replicate his work without his family members' consent. So, not only living artists are having to stay vigilant, but they are also targeting dead people as well. Very classy. But you get the point, right? The generators can't produce images with artistic qualities without having art in them, so they had to get the art from somewhere. I wonder where.
But if you think about it a little more, this AI takes inspiration from millions and millions of images to create its own art. Yes? Well, people do the same thing. That's how inspiration works.
No. Inspiration in art is vastly different from AI generators. Here's a good visual example on screen on how humans use inspiration in art to help visualize art ideas more clearly, whereas in AI they use pre-existing art and heavily sampled and copies aspects verbatim and creates the best hits compilation of other artists' work. And sometimes they add the original artist's watermark, which is fucking hilarious. For the image being created with human artists, it's not considered stealing unless pushed too far or blatantly copied, in which case that is considered art theft and is very not cool and you should definitely not do that. So no, to reiterate, having inspirations for your art is not the same as AI generators are doing, and you don't need consent to have inspiration. You do, however, need consent to take large bodies of artists' copyrighted work to use in a database to create art with their likeness.
Nothing is original. Everything is derivative from something. And most of the time, that's okay, unless you're outright copying someone.
You are correct that nothing is truly original. That isn't a bad thing. It does not only apply to art. Look at any subject you've ever learned about ever. In life, these things all created by people before us and people around us now, which is great, and that's how learning things works. But just because nothing is truly original doesn't mean it can't stand on its own and not be copyrighted. See artists' work being taken and used in this situation.
So, do I have to get permission from every artist when I look at their work and I get inspired by it?
Of course, you don't have to ask every artist you ever take inspiration from for permission to take inspiration from them. That's silly, and that's not what's happening with AI art. It's different, and I think you know that just to make a hyperbolic point. AI generators are theft, plain and simple. You've already heard me go on and on about how it is stealing, lads. I won't bore you with another one. But to answer the question, yes, because art is copyrighted the moment it's created, and the copyrighted artwork being used without consent in an unregulated engine is harmful and infringes on that copyright. Now lads, I didn't think I had to say this in the year 2022, but stealing from people is ethically wrong. It's a hot take, I know, just run with it.
A little weird because I understand the argument that people's art is being used in a database of machine learning without their consent. There's an argument to be made there, but I'm not sure if it's really theft of other people's art. What about when you're making fan art? You're using other people's likeness and other IPs like Pokemon and stuff to make your own thing. You're directly using someone else's work or face or likeness or Pokemon to make your own art. That's essentially what the AI art is doing. And not to mention that a lot of these fan artists are profiting off of someone else's IP by selling their fan art products on Etsy, etc., when it's not their original work. What about then?
Fan art is not the same as AI art. I can't fucking believe I have to explain this right now, but here we go. When it comes to fan art, while yes, it is illegal because you are drawing somebody else's IP that they own, you are not committing the same crime at the level of AI art. Think of it like a pyramid, if you will. AI is at the top while fan art is at the very bottom. Fan art is generally considered good for business and promotion for a lot of IPs. Do you think the next artist alley, the industrial military complex, will show up and fucking storm the place? I don't think they brought Michelangelo to court over his Jesus fan art. However, there have been some pieces of fan art that have resulted in copyright strikes if they become big enough, but your commoner garden artist won't have to worry about selling your Valorant stickers on your Etsy. You'll be fine. But to get to the point, no, fan art branches off of something that has already been made, while AI, God, I'm getting tired of how many times I've explained it by this point, takes pre-existing art from non-consenting artists, makes the art from blah, I hope you get the point at this fucking point in the video. Also lads, I find it fucking hilarious that while trying to equate fan art and fan works as stealing, they have a Nintendo logo painting and an Among Us painting in the back. I love irony so much, it's great. So to end it off, it is illegal, but it's the cool kind of illegal. It's like jaywalking, so don't worry, you'll be fine. It's ethically fine, it's morally alright. You're not gonna be burned at the stake for drawing your fucking Sonic fan art, you'll be fine. But now to a very important announcement. This video is sponsored by me. Yes, I have some important news that I have made a monthly Ko-Fi tiers, which is basically just Patreon, but you get the gist. They have many goodies that you may or may not be interested in. We have a €2 tier, we have your €5 tier, and we got your €8 tier. Some goodies like viewers like you might want. Here's what we're offering. We have your name read out at the end of my videos. You can see donator live streams where it would, mostly be art, behind the scenes content, access to videos a week before they go up on the channel, monthly video polls to influence the videos on top priority, etc. And I will be taking my art commissions there as well, with examples on the screen. Ooh, very nice, lovely. If any of these interest you, please go check the link in the description and go check them out. Any of the donations are greatly appreciated and help make my art my livelihood. So, cheers. But now let's get back to the video.
What is ethical AI art then?
Ethical AI art would be a regulated database that not just anyone could add art, images, photos into, but instead public domain works from old masters from eons ago and stuff from developers and engineers themselves. And art sent in through voluntary, that's how ethical AI art generators would work. It's just that simple, but unfortunately, it seems that we are long past the point of ethical AI art generators when they started stealing others' work. They then talk about sampling music, and to be completely honest here, I have not a single clue about how music production works, so I cannot speak on those terms, but I can elaborate on the parts that they mention about art. I find it really interesting that in the video previously it was
about it a little more. This AI bot is probably trained on millions and millions of images of different art styles, etc. And maybe it's based on a database of non-consenting artists, maybe it is, we don't really know.
But now it's with music, which this person seems acquainted with, it's
AI had to learn what music sounded like from a database of millions of copyrighted songs for it to create its own original music. Katy Perry didn't consent to this. Is that theft?
Yikes. It's the fact that you can't even see the own contradiction or flip-flopping of points. This video kind of seemed like a bit of a mess in this aspect.
And where it's going. And I'm sure people felt the same way when art started to become more digital, when people were painting less and less with real-ass paintbrushes and started painting on their Wacoms or tablets with an Apple Pencil. I'm sure that a lot of traditional artists were upset.
Advancements of technology is not the same as AI art, since the human artist is choosing what to do with the tools that have been created in the software. When digital art was first being introduced, it was not respected as much as it is today. The difference is digital softwares like Clip Studio Paint, Paint.Sty, Procreate, and many others, the artist is physically drawing the image on the tablet, whereas in AI, you get the gist, lads. This video was a miss in my artistic opinion. I and so many other artists have trained for most of our lives to get where we are now, and for all of that work to just be stolen and automated is fucking heartbreaking and devastating. Independent and freelance artists' rights get trampled on for shits and giggles at this point, and it's sad to see. This open-ended questions and fence-sitting attitude of this blatant theft and is negligent at best, but I think I know why this happened. During this video they say/allude to them being tired, and from looking at their channel it seems they try to post once every week or so. Which, coming from someone who recently started doing this as a job, is tough, and I'm being charitable thinking this, but I think they didn't put as much research into this since they themselves don't seem to be a visual artist. Whereas I've been toying around with this video idea for quite some time but had never gotten the right feeling I wanted until now. This video encapsulated a lot of what I've been seeing around, and so it was easy pickings, and I would just say to privatize your video, but I'm assuming that's how you make your income, just as I do with my art, which, you know, sucks when people take parts of your income away. Wouldn't imagine that at all. But what I hope in my heart of hearts to be a badly thought out video and doesn't spread any misinformation, which as of recording this, it has over 66,000 views, and when reading through the comments, it's mostly artists who are distributing their points too, so of course it's not just me. If you would like to see if the video's still up, I don't know, because I'm fucking recording this, I haven't even edited it yet, oh god. And if they post a retraction, and if they realize what they said was wrong, and we'll be hunky-dory. And again, for the love of God, don't send them any hate or meanness or anything of the sort. You know what's in it for your firstborn. You were warned. I will be there. I will know when it happens, and I will be there. But yeah, if you've made it this far, cheers. Maybe subscribe. I don't know how this fucking YouTube thing works. Do what you want. I have art social media. If anything I showed you today interests you, go check out Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, all that sort of jazz. They're all linked below. And if you're interested in supporting me financially through my coffee tiers and getting goodies and stuff like that, or you want to take a commission, by all means go check that out and see what you like. You know, browse a bit, window shopping, I don't know. But yeah, bye.